Howdy, welcome back. Hope you had a good week in the stock market. It is September 10th. We're going to talk about S&P 500, what's going on here, melt off, Gamestop, technical analysis, option plays. Did a lot of option plays today. Rolled over stuff, closed, credit spreads, debit spreads. What's going on with Gamestop? What's it going on for next week? Are we in the rollover period? We're going to get into all of that. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. We have a Twitter you can follow us on too at HappyMoneyYT, as well as our Discord. It's in the description. Feel free to jump on there. And yeah, today the market did sell off. I was expecting it to. It just didn't really happen as quick as I needed it to. It happened in the morning, and then it had an epic bounce, and then sold off into close. And Monday might be very, very red. I was a day early on it, so I actually don't have exposure for Monday. Whatever. I had it for today, my options on it, but anyways, yeah, I think S&P, I think the market, I think this is again another top. I think it is different though than these other ones we've had. We had this one, every couple months. This one. I feel like we actually, just based on the chart and the price action, I think we are actually at the actual top, because this one's behaving differently. Kind of crowned here and slowed up and just kind of consolidated before it's reversing now. On top of the fact that we have all these divergences on RSI and the MACD. These other times it kind of flirted with it and then it just dumped, but then it rebounded. We also are in September, which is historically when the markets crashed in September. Amongst the many other reasons, the PE ratio on pretty much all the stocks right now are way above historical highs, way higher than they even were before the dot-com crash. Inflation is higher than it was before 2008. The yield curve is flattening. I mean, there's moratorium. You can just keep going on and on. So yeah, I think this actually probably is the downturn. How far we go down? I don't know. It'll be some violent swings down. There'll be some probably big bounces, and then some consolidation, and then more. And overall, though, this trend I think will be turning around and coming back down here, probably this 180 moving average, and then see if we break through that, and then we'll know if this is a longer term bear market. If it just kind of comes down to here, it's just kind of a correction more than shifting to a bear market. If we have the cross, the short-term crossing the long-term, that's a death cross, and then we're into basically bearish territory. And we haven't been there since COVID back here, and before then added a little bit back here. This was I can't remember whether there was some sort of crisis back there, but it hasn't really been in bearish territory very long, where it's short terms under the long term really for a long time. Whole market's been propped up since really 2008, or maybe even 2001. I don't know how far back you go, or maybe even since we left the gold standard in the 70s. So see right there. Speaking of the 70s, look, it's trading pretty flat. Oh, never mind, it's 90s. 90s.com. Bearish after the .com bubble crash. Bearish for a couple years. Then rebound, and then we had, of course, 9/11 that came at that same time, which we are remembering tomorrow, and then bullish really ever since then, except for a couple of crashes here and there. 2008, no big deal, and that's where they started just turning the money printer on, and we've been in a crazy trend ever since. So anyways, GME, hate to say it, guys, we are, according to TA, we are bearish. It's not looking like, just TA wise, doesn't look like it's going to be crazy next week. I expect so far consolidation and probably some melting down. However, I still have it in my head, rollover period, and that they have the expiration's not till next Friday. So TA can flip real easily. We're just barely bearish on the MACD for the daily. We do have red under the 9 moving average. So those two indicators are pretty strong. The bull flag was good. This big day kind of screwed it up, but still is a bull flag. Today was kind of the kicker though, to decide which direction. Not to say that it's just going to drop like crazy now. It might consolidate in this range and just kind of consolidate before we have a run. And the run on GME might be later next week. I don't think it'll be on Monday unless there is news. But yeah, so let me show you kind of an interesting conversation. This was on Reddit. So can't really read it. There we go. 2008 crisis started with the fall of Lehman Bros on September 15th, 2021. That was the Monday of the third week of the month, or the third week, or the week of quad witching. Next week's quad witching, rollover period for options, futures, all the stuff on the same Friday. Here's Creand. You are the best. Those rollovers have until the 17th too, right, sir? Or no, that was Creand. Yeah. Thank you, Creand, for all that you do. Yep. Turns out it's customary to roll by September 9th, which was what we were expecting, which was yesterday. But you can roll anytime up until expiration. You typically want to roll by the roll date to avoid additional volatility as expirations approach. So we could be coming up on some extreme price swings since the price hasn't surged since August 24th. That's that huge single day we had. I was up 100,000, didn't lock enough profits. Made a little bit, but yeah. They may be holding them to the last minute out of fear of volatility, making their swaps unhedgeable. That's a good point, but I like this response. This response is legit. I'm going to speculate that they were betting on another share offering after the earnings call and thought that that would be a better time to hedge since when they tried August 24th, there wasn't enough liquidity. That's quite an interesting take. Could be. I think that's really smart. If there was a share offering, they'd have however many shares offered to help hedge and close positions and roll or whatever. And since there wasn't, they now are like, oh crap. So still no news of a share offering. So it seems like we're out of the woods for that. And that might make next week crazy. Right now it's bearish, but it could just be a consolidation. We will see. My God, that's a genius take. My God, he's a genius. They could have been hoping to gobble up the fresh shares, knowing that that's what gave them the only chance of survival last 2 times. Yep. Now Gamestop's books are fat as ever, and even better now the liquidity is as dry as it was February, March. That's true. That's a good point. Talk about quintuple witching week coming. Thank you, sir. Also, according to you, is there any validity to the theory I've read on here that if you don't roll by the 17th, they have 35 calendar days? That's not true. It doesn't really work with failed delivers. That's what he says there. So, yeah, that's kind of my hope for next week, is that they still have a lot of rolling over to do, and that could rocket us up. If not, I mean, I'm just going to look at the price action and kind of wait and see. And if it seems like volume's coming in and it's very bullish volume, then I will close out my bearish position and flip bullish as quick as I can. But if I don't see that, I am expecting maybe a bit of this. After this big sell-off after earnings, consolidation, meltdown. Now, I don't think it'll melt down as far as we went here or as long, because we have this moving average. And there is this floor, this ever-rising floor that they're not able to push it below. So it's getting wound pretty tight into a range here. So if it is a meltdown period, the lowest I would expect it to go would be bouncing off this, a proper bounce right around this 180 moving average. So right now that's 158, but next week that could be 170, you know, if it kind of keeps this trajectory going. So by next Friday, that would put it about 165. But if it's a slow melt, it'll probably be a few weeks. So I don't know. That's kind of what I'm looking for. If GME does a death cross, I'm gonna want some answers. I don't see that happening. So far, we've only seen higher lows, and that is very bullish and very good. So next week's gonna be pretty telling. And I think also with the SPY, I've gone back and forth. I've thought right when the SPY starts selling off, GME's gonna rocket. And then I've thought the SPY's gonna sell off, GME's gonna come with it. The overall market's gonna crash together, and then GME will rise from the ashes like a phoenix. And I think GME could come down some with the market, especially if it's a lot of velocity on the market. But I don't think, again, I think it'll respect these support lines, these supports. These down here are 138. It could have a volatility wick down there maybe if it's real aggressive, but I don't see it closing down here in this 130 range. 130, yeah, for now. I do see it could come down, especially with the market, and then consolidate and then rise. But I think the floor that we've, and you can see it, I mean the floor is right here, this 180, without even drawing any extra lines. And then of course, if you watch my other video zooming out, it's very simple. This is a nice wedge, like a huge massive wedge on the monthly. So all of that is good. Yeah, all of that is good. Let me show you the plays we did today. A lot of different stuff going on. Holy crap. Yeah, that's all today. So the ATR, the debit spread, and the put credit spread I closed. I think I fully closed out of that. ATR was just on a tear. Oh, I still have some. So I'll wait till tomorrow, I guess, or Monday. So this is a put credit spread. So this one you're basically waiting for the clock to run out. And I have a whole week, but it's almost all the way fully profitable. It's up 94%. So I would typically close that. I meant to actually just, it didn't close. Anyways, yeah, so we're here. So it would have to come all the way back down below my strike for me to lose money on that. Have to come back below $7.50, and it could, I mean, but it's had a crazy run. What? It's just disappeared? No. It's had a crazy run, so that's ATR, and then we also had a debit spread on that we closed. I think that was like a $600 debit spread or so. Max gain on it though was like $1,600, but I needed the time to decay on the short side of the call to be able to get the full, and it was actually just in the money just now, so I basically didn't want to wait for next week, so I thought it was going to come down. Yeah, so that's ATR. I closed. Support had the news about the merger. I think it went through or whatever was going on with that. It dropped quite a bit. I got out of it for a loss. I sold the Hellbiz shares. They were up, and the chart on Hellbiz actually still looks pretty decent. I didn't feel like holding it. On the daily, I mean, it's still bullish. It's got so much. It's just got some huge candles and tons of volume, and it's just kind of wild right now. But on the hourly, it crossed over. I sold it right here once we crossed over bearish. So just to get out of it for now, and I can jump back in later. And let's help is AMC. All you AMC investors, you're not apes, you're investors. I did. I got into AMC. Everyone on Discord was just ganging up on an AMC person, an individual, a human being. Can't believe it. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get AMC. So I didn't get shares. I just looked at the chart, and it is a nice looking chart right now. Not into close. I mean, it's set up a bull flag here on the hourly, so I liked that. It's a little extended, but MACD is still good. It all looks good. The thing is, if the market sells off, this might come with it. I'm not sure. The daily, it's a little overextended, but still nice, grinding up this 180-day moving average. 9 is over the 180 also. MACD is still bullish. It's in a bullish pattern for sure. So it broke out of this range, just kind of like $50 resistance it's been fighting. So I picked up a little debit spread. Naked call options on it are just, I think the IV's pretty high, so it says it's already down. Oh well. This is a 55-70 call debit spread. So I bought the 55 calls and I sold the 70s. So this is what the chart will look like. So you can see the underlying price. If GME goes up to 55, 56, 57, my max gain will be if GME goes to $70. And by expiration, it'll be 2,600. Max loss is 306. So that's that debit spread. And it's a pretty big spread on it, so I can make gains even if GME just comes up a little bit, you know. Doesn't have to go crazy. As if you had just a naked long call, you'd have to have a lot of price action to make moves with it. At our GME, close out all of our GME positions. Definitely lost some on options this week, but we're making it back by selling credit on them. Rolled. So we had cash secured puts or short puts on GME. of the 210 flavor, and I rolled them over to next week and was able to collect a little credit, I think like $300 to roll 3 210s into next week 200. So that's these. So I lowered my strike, which is lowering my cost basis, as well as receiving a few $100 credit. So basically the chart looked bearish, so I wanted to bring my strike down. I wasn't too worried about credit. And then I also opened up the call credit, or the covered call, which is these. Opened up 8 covered calls right here, 200 strike. So these, if GME closes below 200 by next week, these will give us $4,080. So not even close to what I've lost back and forth, but it does help. And with the shares, yeah, it helps to kind of mitigate some of the losses. And then when you start going up, you're like, wow, I'm making more now. And that's because you were able to make some on the way down. So I might close out of these again if GME starts to look bullish. Hopefully these have some value, and I'll just close out of them. And I did that actually I already did that once this week. I day traded them, some covered calls. These calls all expired worthless. So just in the call premium I spent this week, yeah, I was pretty bullish on this week. And these did well until I just diamond handed them through the consolidation periods. So besides that, we did all right. Better on our other accounts, better on our Weeble and our TD. There's Adder, GME. Let's see. Yeah, and I rolled the short puts, and yeah. I'm excited for next week, just to see if we have price action, and if it seems like it's a rollover period. The TA on it now, like I said, it's bearish, but it could flip. It doesn't have to stay this way. It might just consolidate in this range for a bit, or it might slowly melt down. And I think we're gonna see what happens with the market. If the market really gets red, this could melt down and then just rip. See, like back here, little false breakout. Everything flipped bullish. This was bullish for like one day, and then it came down. So false breakout to the upside. This could be a false breakout to the downside. We'll just have to wait and see. But I sold the covered calls because I can get a premium over the weekend, and unless if there's news, some crazy awesome news over the weekend, I think those will be fine. I have to keep telling myself that. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. See you on Monday. Have a good weekend. Chill out. Peace out.